I'll try to achieve the impossible. I'll finally try to successfully dock the Kerbal presence on the moon. We'll try to land and take the step, like Neil Armstrong did many years ago on Earth. This time, we'll try to help Kerbals with the same great thing. I have played this game before, so I actually know how to orbit, how to land, and how to do a lot of things that are not hard, but they take effort to learn. And I have been trying with my ships. I've been trying to get to the moon to land, and the main obstacle that I met was designing a good rocket. And so I started with Kerbmoon. If we can find it here somewhere, I will show it to you. There is Kerbmoon Mark 1. That was my first attempt on the spaceship to the moon. And as it got, well, it got to the out of the atmosphere and out to the orbit. But my problem was I ran out of fuel pretty quickly. The process and staging of it was pretty much we launch it, then detach them, then detach this, then detach this, and we were left with that to dock, to land on the moon. And it was enough. Why? Because Kerbals are not able to do this with such a small amount of fuel. So I decided to scrap the Kerbmoon project and start a new project. It wasn't even Mark II. It was Kerbal Mark 1. The first ship that actually contained a lot of fuel. There was one issue with it, however. When you launch the ship, everything collapses. So, as the Kerbal safety department advised me to do, I scrapped the project and attempted on Kerbal Mark II. Well, Kerbal Mark II had a little improvements. Basically, I added struts and separated the rockets. The problem? It's too heavy. I can lift it off the ground, but it won't go very far. So, as the costs were running high and our income were running low, I decided to attempt on Kerbal Mark III to show some results and get more funding from the Kerbal government. And so I came to this solution, which looked decent but was crap. Basically, I didn't have enough power to properly lift. I got up into 15,000 meters and I ran out of fuel. Done. And as a last attempt on my way to the moon, I came up with the most brilliant idea. Pride of the Kerbal spacecraft. Kerbal Mark IV. As you can see, it contains 5 massive fuel tanks that are powering 4, 5... Oh, it's actually 6 fuel tanks that are powering 6 massive engines. And I'll tell you the name of the engines. These are 4X800 engines, and they are amazing. They have enough power to lift this whole construction up, and then they break away. Those small engines take over. Then when they run out, they fall away. Then we've got the main engine, which is also the same engine as these surrounding ones, but it doesn't have to lift as much because we're pretty much out of the atmosphere, so it's only meant to adjust our orbit. And then, what I didn't know before, I was always running out of fuel, even in Kerbal Mark IV. This is the improved Kerbal Mark IV. Maybe it should be even Kerbal Mark V, because before, as you can see in here, I was using the same engine as here, but it was burning fuel like mad. Then I decided to use the nuclear engine. Why, may one ask, use such a technology? I used atomic rocket motor, and it is the best, like the most efficient, doesn't use almost any fuel, and it has very low thrust, but in the space when there is no gravity, it's perfect. So, without further ado, let's begin our liftoff. And so, here we are in the Space Center, planning our trip to the moon. Here we can see our Kerbal Mark IV on the launch strip, ready for takeoff, ready to launch. We will leave the beautiful Kerbin to reach the undiscovered moon, desired by many, reached by none. This is our target. It is beautiful. Such a small thing, but so exciting. So close and yet so far. We will leave Kerbin and our space station, reach the orbit of Kerbin and stretch it out so much that we'll cross paths with the moon's orbit. Then we'll throw towards it and we'll get intercepted by the orbit of the moon. And from there, we'll make our landing and make the small step for the Kerbal, but such a big step for the Kerbins. Let's start our starting procedure. Engage SAS for stability. Check. Full throttle. Check. Requesting countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. Ladies and gentlemen, we are airborne. Everything seems to be going well. Fuel levels stable. Oh, engines overheating. Turn down the throttle by 10%. 15%. Throttle under control, not overheating. Stable growth of speed. 200 almost, and rising. The spacecraft is stable. The clock seems to be working fine. Altitude rising. At about 16,000-17,000, we'll try to do the gravity turn, depending on how our stage goes. Before we attempt the gravity turn, I would advise getting rid of the stage 1 of our aircraft. It's a spacecraft, but you can call it aircraft. Let's wait for it to burn off all the fuel. Engage RCS for stability. And let's wait. 3, 2, 1. Engage. Success. Let's start our gravity turn. Slowly. This is dangerous, since it may turn to a disaster. Stable. Let's keep it this way. Houston, we have a problem. The engine seems to be cutting off. Let's turn down the throttle a little bit. They're still cutting up. Yes, they are. You can hear the little stops. Let's see how is our captain doing. And where's Andrew? He's terrified. Understandable. Let's see on our space map. We want to reach 200. Although with our engine malfunction it may be impossible. Full throttle and let's take out of it as much as we can. Disengage stage 2. Atomic engine engage. Seems to be working perfectly fine. Can we keep it up? This is rising. Maybe we can get it to some decent altitude. The apoapsis. The apoapsis needs to be high, so we have enough time to burn and get the periapsis, which is currently in here, on the other side, and create the orbit, from which we can safely start pulling off to the moon. So, resources, all fuel levels are really high. As I said, very efficient engine. We should be able to get the altitude to about 190, maybe even 200 that we want. Let's see. The level is fine. Let's try to adjust it a tiny bit. It is all fine. The altitude is rising. We should keep burning because we have a lot of fuel that will last for a probably journey to maybe even Minimus. We may never know. For now, it's a moon. Let's cut down the engines. The apoapsis is at 200. Let's warp towards it. We want to stop around here and start burning. Let's engage RCS. Okay, there we go. Let's get RCS involved, switch off SAS, and let's try manually. Right here you can see on the little globe, try to get to this green circle, which is the direction of our orbit. From there, we want to burn towards the apoapsis, and by doing this, we'll create a nice little orbit for us. There we go. Let's turn our spacecraft, lock it with SAS, and full throttle. Let's see how it works. You can see that the orbit, let's follow it. You can see the orbit is actually spreading. Everything goes as planned. Let's hope for the best. Let's see how it works. You can see it slightly spreading out. Our position is decent. Let's adjust a little bit. SAS. There's Kerbal. And there is our target. The moon. So close and yet so far. How is our orbit doing? A little bit slower than I would like it to be doing, but I guess it is okay. Our altitude is dropping awfully fast. Let's pull up a little bit. We are getting dragged towards the Earth, and our engine is not one of the most powerful. So, it's the only thing we can do. Let's adjust towards the orbit. There we go. And hope for the best. There we go. SAS seems to be useless for now, because I keep adjusting. You can see in this little globe in here. All I need to do is get the orbit. And the orbit is spreading. How is our cockpit looking? Can we check it? Why cannot we check how our Kerbonauts is doing? Okay, there we go. Captain, how is it? Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So how is it going, Captain? Speed, decent. Let's hope we can make it to the moon. The orbit is looking okay. Let's hope we can maintain this. I wish I was able to warp it up a little bit, since it takes a while with this engine. It is not very powerful. And yeah, it takes a while, but it's very efficient. Look at the fuel. Fuel usage is almost none. which is good. Apoapsis rising. Periapsis should be rising as well. Right now it's about here, so it will come out here, and we wanted to stretch it. I mean, as we start burning in the periapsis, the apoapsis that's right here will stretch all the way here and will cross the path of the moon. So this is our hope. Let's see what the planet thinks about that. Go. Let's adjust. Still keeping the full throttle. Let's see how it looks. There is the target. Let's go. Here. It's stretching. A little bit slower than I would like it to be stretching, but what can you do? What's our altitude? Interesting. Looks like something hit it here. Oh, look, it's rising really fast. Which is a good sign, I guess. Go. There we go. Periapsis appear. I command you. How's our altitude looking? 170, pretty decent. Can bring it up. Dropping fairly quickly, but I think we'll be able to create an orbit in time. Yes, there we go. Periapsis should appear somewhere here. Come on, my beauty. I believe. There we go. Just perfect. Our periapsis. Let's go ahead, kill the throttle, quick save, and get back on the throttle. Just so we can raise it. We want to raise it because we don't want to enter the atmosphere and crash into the Kerbal. We need to raise it to about... no, as much as I can. No. I don't know at what altitude the Kerbal's atmosphere ends, to be perfectly honest with you. So let's go ahead and say this. As long as it's rising, we should keep burning. $70,000. Let's trust this and warp. Can we make it? What's going on? I hope we're not entering the atmosphere. Nope, we're not. We're just awfully close. Map. Warp. Our mission is a success. We should warp around towards the apoapsis again, then throttle. It will push our periapsis back, so it'll be a safer position. We won't, because you can see our orbit is like very weird. We want to smoothen it out, make it kind of circular, to make it safe, because we don't want our three experienced Kerbonauts to die a horrible death, do we? Oh, at least I don't. I don't know what with you bastards. Probably don't even care, but poor Kerbits. I don't know. Are they Kerbals? Kerbits? Kerbins? Hard to say. Okay. Disable SAS, enable RCS, and let's do it. This is the most boring part to watch. If you want to learn, then I guess it will help you. If you don't want to learn, you can just skip it. That's the beauty of YouTube. I personally really enjoy doing this stuff because this is what you spend the most time on in Kerbal Space Program. Apart from building, of course. But it's so much fun, believe me. Worth every penny. It was even on sale on Steam, which is really good. Okay, there we go. Lock in. And burn, baby, burn. You'll be able to see the periapsis rise really rapidly. There we go. This is rising as well, but much slower. And this is rising rapido. We'll get it to about 300. 300. Done. Let's warp. Actually, first, let's set the target as a moon. Now we're warping at 1000 times speed. Decrease the warp. Switch off SAS. Adjust the position. This is a lot of maneuvering. You can see the moon approaching slowly. I hope we will hit its orbit. There we go, turning the rocket. You can see it in the little globe below. If you're wondering what I'm doing, if you don't see anything, just look at the globe. I'm probably adjusting it because you have to do it on your own. SAS keeps it steady, but in many times you need it. There we go, SAS engage. Oh, actually not. Need a little bit more. A bit more. Cosmic whales, hello. Engaged. Oh no, kill the engine. Float a little bit more. I forgot. We have to get to the periapsis, which is the slowest passing point. And it's the best to burn. Because we won't be pushed out so quickly. Because you could see that I was pushed down to Earth. And if I wasn't in the slowest point, I would crash. It's not Earth, it's Kerbal, you moron. Okay. Now we can see as we're burning in periapsis, the opposite apoapsis is raising. Good. Everything goes as planned. So nice to hear. This is our target, so we need to stop burning and start warping. You may ask why, because it needs to be, the cross point will be around here. We need moon to be around here in order to cross paths. Okay, one more circle. We should be fine. There we go. And burn. And let's hope for the best. Moon is still here, the apoapsis is rising. No, we're not gonna float it under. This is the risk, because if you miss, it will take a much longer period of time to get to the moon. I'm not cutting it down, even though I could, because I want people to see how it's roughly done. It's probably not the most efficient approach, but this is the first Kerbal's mission. This is how it works. There we go, I'm killing the engines because you can see the closest approach. We're gonna slowly increase the speed and wait for the orange arrow that will indicate the orbit crossing. And there we go. Let's go ahead and stop it. And since we're floating, we don't need to stop it. There it is. The moon will be coming here. We will be here. And after we make the circle, in here, this is the moon encounter. We'll be here. We'll have to get to periapsis and burn to create an orbit. We burn towards the orbit's direction, I guess, or whatever, to close it. But in the moon, we have to go against the orbit, and it will close these two down, make a little circle, and it will allow us to land. Let's begin our float. warp. Let's go warp 1000. You'll see the moon will catch up when we'll be making this turn. This is the moon escape. If we get this point, we'll get back to the Earth's orbit. Roughly, you can see how weird it is. If you really screw up your orbits, you'll get caught in the orbit of the sun and will be floating forever if you don't have fuel to get out of it. So yes, it may be pretty difficult for Kerbals. How are you? There we go. The moon is approaching. You can see it. My brave Kerbals. Let's save this, just in case we screw up. There we go. Let's slow it down. And here, RCS. Slow it down completely. RCS engage. SAS disengage. Disengage. Let's adjust against the orbit. As soon as you get to periapsis, we start burning like mud. And we should be able to close the orbit around the moon. And then we can just choose our landing spot as we please. And I will show you why. Come on! Come on, you can see my... it's so slow because my little RCS on the actual spacecraft is not very powerful. But what can we do? Let's burn. And you see, it's the Kerbin's orbit is going away, and the moon's orbit is closing. It'll go all the way around and make a circle, and we will be home. That's all we need. So come on, burn. If you want to know which is the direction of the orbit and against direction, the direction is the empty circle with 3 things, and the against the orbit is the cross inside the circle and the 3 things. That's pretty much it. Simple as hell. Okay, there we go. Let's slow down, and there we go. Kill the engines. Save. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an orbit. Now all you need to do is keep burning in this direction. It will keep closing and closing and closing and closing, and finally one of those lines will come towards the moon. Then you just float towards the moon, counteract the speed, and safely land. At least that's the theory. But we want to land on the bright side of the moon. As it's going now, it will keep closing and closing. We'll probably land on the dark side. So let's go ahead and float around a little bit in order to get the bright side in the better spot. There we go. 1. There we go. See? There is the... Where's the sun? There's the sun. Ooh, so bright. So now we can go ahead and dewarp, engage RCS. Oops. And let's find the opposite of the orbit's direction. See? This is the orbit's direction, the empty circle. Let's go ahead and find the other one. There we go. No, 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 counteract. Please. You can see how it works. See, I'm adjusting it right now. Adjust, 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 adjust. Nope, 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 nope. Too much speed. Oh, let's just go ahead and spin. Spin for the win. Oh shit, I'm gonna miss it. No, I'm so bad at this game. Let's spin for the win. Oh shit, I'm not counteracting it, I'm just speeding it up. Okay, let's just engage SAS because I'm bad at this game. SAS will automatically stop your spinning. Okay, I can do it now. I am so bad, and I am so sorry that you have to watch it. I'm just spinning like mad. There you go. Up, 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 up. Push a little bit more. A little bit more. Just keep watching this. This. Okay, counteract, counteract. Turn. Stop. SAS engaged. It'll level. Good. Leveled. Now all we need to do is turn. Turn ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. There we go. 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 Lock. Whew. And thrust. Let's watch. RCS disengage. We don't need you anymore. And let's find ourselves a good landing spot. On the bright side of the moon. See? This is where our landing spot will be. And let's go ahead and land over here. Let's look at our little ship. We can go ahead and engage. You did your job well. There we go. See? It still has plenty of fuel in it, but all we need is this little engine to counteract the weight of this being dragged towards the moon. And let's go ahead and warp it out. We're being dragged towards the moon. Slow down. Okay. So. There we go. We have to find in here. This is towards the Earth. We want to go on the exact opposite direction and counteract the drag. So basically, what you do, you counteract the little gravity that this tiny moon has. Let's engage our landing gear. And yep, let's warp towards it. We're being dragged down. Back down. At 20,000 we'll start burning. 20,000. This is beautiful. Let's go ahead and save. There we go. Engaged. And let's start burning. Our fuel is very limited. You can see it in here on the right top corner. I'll actually click it so you're able to see it as our fuel dwindles down the more I burn. And let's go ahead and speed this a little bit up because no, we can't do it, it's burning. So basically this is the first attempt to land on the moon. Our landing point is, as it looks, somewhere around here, which looks pretty flat. It should be fairly easy to land. We'll have a crater to explore really close. So we have to keep adjusting. Oh no, not like me. You have to keep adjusting it slightly to keep it directly, to get the best efficiency out of your fuel. See, this is our atomic engine that will crash into the surface because it's going way too fast. Is it gonna crash? Probably, but we won't be able to see it. We have to focus on our landing. We are at 16 kilometers and slowing down. Well, I said it's 16, it's 160, so let's go ahead and warp, because I'm dumb as hell. Our speed is increasing, but it's still acceptable. Let's go down. Let's go ahead and start burning now. We are really close. It may look like we're high, but we're actually pretty close to the surface. I think that our instruments are not very, how do you call it, accurate as for the altitudes. But there's like a kilometer difference or something. But yeah, pretty much we have to be careful. You can see the Kerbals are fairly calm. The captain is a little worried. Let's see how it looks from their perspective. We're landing. Everything is fine. Okay, our speed is way too high. We need to go ahead and burn. It really hurts our fuel, but we need to slow down to around 150. Actually, we'll go down to 200. And then with the rest of it, we should be fine. Hope so. You can see the Kerbals are absolutely terrified. You can imagine the G's inside. Okay. Okay. Let's turn down the throttle. Let's adjust our position. And there we go. Almost perfectly flat. We contracted the gravity, so we're not being dragged to the side. We're being dragged down, which is perfect for our landing gear, as you can imagine. Perfect flat surface below us. I hope I'm not gonna land like in here. Okay. Let's go ahead and keep burning. Okay, you need to stop burning and pick up some speed because we don't want to start climbing. The fuel is very precious, as there is a very limited resource in here. No, I've got very sensitive keyboard, so every time I try to adjust this little thing, I usually go flying around. Okay. Let's go ahead and permanently engage SAS. And let's warp it out a little bit. There we go, a little burn. We're at 8.5 kilometers. We need to slow down. We're 70 meters per second. Let's go down to 30 and then decrease our throttle to get it pretty much stable. Lower it down to about 5%, and there we go. The fuel is low, so let's cut out the engine and let's hope for the free fall. We're going perfectly down. The Kerbals are really happy, they know we're really close. You can see it on their faces. Hello! You're happy? Yep, so am I. Let's hope that we have enough fuel to do the last minute burn. We're at 6 kilometers and dropping. Let's warp it up. We're at 4 kilometers. Let's burn. Let's burn, let's burn. Good, we have enough. Okay, let's burn and contract the speed as much as we can. Come on. Oh, we were burning too much and we started climbing. We need to start dropping again. Okay, there we go. We're dropping again. Slowly, 3,500. Our speed is rising. Let's speed it up to around 50, and then we can easily counteract it last minute. At least that's what I'm thinking. Okay, perfectly flat. We're at 3,000 meters. Where's our shadow? No shadows of yet. Let's start burning. We're getting awfully close to the surface, and we want to land it around below 15 meters per second, because that's what our landing gear is designed for. So there we go. Below, we've got around 6 meters per second, and dropping. But something else, something horrible happened. We started losing our level. We don't want to slide around. So we cut out our engine and we start falling. And we have just enough fuel to counteract the landing impact. 10 meters per second. And ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the surface of the moon. We are so close. Decrease the throttle. Kill the throttle. And touchdown. This is a very bad landing. Luckily our RCS is counteracting it. Ladies and gentlemen, We landed on the moon. Let's go ahead. Kill this information. Kill the resources. Extend the ladder. The ladder is going down. Let's see how it is inside. The crew is happy. They know they made it. We can see the surface. Captain, make the honors. Slowly climbing down the mighty descent of the Kerbal captain. This is a small step for the Kerbonaut, but massive step for the Kerbin nation and the science. We have a touchdown. We are on the moon. We have done what no other have done before. Reached our dreams. You can see the sun. The Kerbin is actually on the dark side, but we are on the moon. You can see the nothingness of space and our little shuttle landing with 3 Kerbonauts, the pioneers of space. Let's plant our flag. Don Lord Kerman, do the honors. Let's call it the Kerbal first moon landing. There we go. Let's go ahead and take a print screen of it. This is beautiful. You can see how happy he is. We have done it. This is the first step to conquering the universe. First step to conquering everything. The Kerbals shall prevail everywhere.